let's get to season 27, episode 5 of South Park.
I feel like, you know, when you're in science class in the 8th grade and you just keep asking questions because you don't want to get to the text because you're...
This is going to be good.
Okay, let's do it. I'm going to stop asking about your weekend.
Okay, we're introduced to Kibling, the Weebelos of America, kind of like a Boy Scout play. He or she is kind of androgynous. They're saying that the Weebelos now allow girls, kind of a play on the Boy Scouts. This is kind of, and you know, Cartman is and Stan are they like questioning is it a boy or girl, and then they get into the only, I guess, way that this fits into the story really, because it's not touched on at all afterwards, is that it segues into this, you know, what are the odds that it's a boy versus what are the odds that it's a girl,
right?
And that's when we're introduced to the prediction market apps, which is platform betting. And this bet comes up. It says, will Kyle's mom strike Gaza and destroy Palestinian hospitals?
But it was right next to, like, will they serve tater tots at lunch? And I was like, this is incredible.
And I think maybe this is good for us to talk about this episode because neither of us are really think about this world of online betting much, so it's
not
our chance
anymore,
to dive into it. There is no phones at school. Narc Jesus is out on the playground.
Yeah,
I love a Narc Jesus. It really fits him, I think.
I love Jesus. I think he's a great historical figure.
I stopped teaching 3 years ago now. Wow. And I was just like, this is insane that I was teaching like 6th graders when I stopped that could have their phones in their backpacks.
Yeah.
This is lunacy that they're even allowed to bring phones into their backpacks into school. It was I want to say, honestly, it was part of the reason why I stopped.
How do you compete with that?
Yeah, and it's just like, compete. Just how do you teach?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like how.
And lo and behold, right after I left, they banned them. So, you know, I don't want to say it was because of me, but maybe.
They were so devastated by your departure.
Look, I mean, the principals definitely, I knew them all, and they listened to me. I was very vocal.
No, I'm sure, honestly, I think that you had a lot to do with it. And then also, I'm sure other teachers had mentioned it, because, I mean, that was when it was really popping.
It hit its peak.
Yeah.
So,
but it was probably you, all the way.
I'm glad to see that is becoming more of the norm in schools around America, a necessary thing. I think we should just go back to no computers as well. Everything just paper, pencil.
Are you
whiteboard.
kidding? There was never a time in which I had no computers in my classroom.
I'm over it. No more computers, just books.
You have to learn to type.
They do it at home. I think we're past learning how to type. We have voice
look,
recognition.
you also have to look, they're not learning anything on computers right now. Let's just be real. Like they're learning
playing
on
games
iPads.
while there's stuff going
on.
Right.
They're in Google chats. Right. I don't know. I'm not over it. It's like, how do you even keep up? If you want to keep academic and like keep up, like, yes, you should be able to like read a book, but no, I'm serious though.
No,
like
I know.
You have to be able to use ChatGPT. That's crazy.
They're doing it all day at home. They don't need to learn how to do that in school, in my opinion. Like, you learn unique skills in school that you wouldn't otherwise be doing when you go home.
There's a lot of things that they shouldn't be teaching in school, but they are. Or like a lot of people would argue they shouldn't be teaching in school, but they are. It's like they should be teaching how to like have a budget. You know what I mean? Like how to manage your money, but like they don't do that, right? Sure. Because that would actually be like an applicable life skill.
Well, basic math also helps with that.
You know, I was able to argue my way out of basic math. So, but I will say though that I hear what you're saying, but I can't remember a time at which there was not a computer in my classroom.
When I was in school.
I was only like a year after you.
Yeah, I know. We didn't have computers in the classroom.
That's not true.
I graduated in 98. We had a few computers in the library and that was it.
There's no way that's true. Like the teacher had a computer.
Yeah, but I'm saying the students didn't.
No, I mean, we didn't have our own computers, but I had access to computers.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Students having their own.
Okay.
The whole Chromebook
But also, who
thing.
needs a computer? Oh, they don't have their phones. Never mind.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen. That's a very nice. We should bet on that. As a matter of fact,
I'm just saying that's what I think should.
I think the odds are. What are the odds?
You know, I'm going to start my own school with no tech.
I would love to see that.
Which, by the way, speaking of apps and the internet, that is kind of a boom. I've been seeing a lot of ads for that lately, like independent teaching and literal. I think there's an app called School. I've been getting a lot of ads for where you literally start your own school and blah blah blah. TikTok has a big commercial running about a math teacher that went from teaching 30 students.
That's mighty right wing of you, Derek.
To millions. Well, I'm not signing up for it.
No, I know, but you wanted to start one.
Oh, well, I was kidding about that.
I'm just saying it's like the impetus to start one would be because you're dissatisfied with the way that the government is handling schooling.
Yeah, no,
there's nothing wrong with that.
No. But I'm glad you said that. I'm proactively ignoring all of these options,
they see you as a good candidate.
Yeah, which I'm not going to buy into. No, I'm big on public education and investing more and more money into it instead of the other way around. We have Fox News comes up. They've been a nice little feature on the season this year. They're talking about the prediction market app, which they say is a loophole around normal gambling laws.
Which it is. And
gambling laws have changed recently in substantial ways. It used to be illegal for like a ESPN or any sports kind of major sports network to even talk about it, and now it's just part of the programming.
Yeah.
And again, it's okay if we don't have a ton of opinions on that stuff. I honestly don't, even though I'm kind of consumed with it all the time.
It's sort of an uneducated person's tax, these gambling. It's a tax on being someone who does not understand odds and does not understand the way the internet works. And that's why a lot of people, I've seen documentaries on this, and it's like, the minute they started allowing people to sports bet, it's like gambling is one of the most addictive things that you can do if you're not aware of how addictive it is. So yeah, it's not. I mean, it's that's who it affects the most, are like socioeconomically like strained people.
Yeah, young people, young men who like sports. On the AC Sports podcast, I did some episodes with Eli Rainey, who is someone who I coached in high school. He's like 24, and we talk about baseball, and we talked about gambling quite a bit. I asked him to bring like 5 topics to the episode, and that was one of them. And what I found is it's like gambling as a vice is kind of can lean toward the young man who doesn't do drugs.
Yeah,
it's like everyone kind of needs a vice somewhere. So if they're not into that, then they can kind of get into gambling. I guess on the upside, at least with gambling, you have the potential to make some money, whereas with drugs, you don't. Oh, you certainly do have the potential to make money.
You have the potential. It's like poker is like a skilled gambling. Like there's a way.
Sports betting can be too. Your knowledge of the game, your knowledge of the details.
Right. But I would just say that probably the amount of people who think they're skilled versus the amount of people who actually are skilled there's probably, what are the odds on that?
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, if you're an addict, then the only way you're going to make money is if you start to sell the stuff too. I guess that all goes kind of hand in hand.
You could make money because you're working really hard, because your crystal meth is really kicking in, and you're putting those extra hours at the cleaning. So
I'll tell you that whenever I drink, it does not help the podcast. I'll say that. So
don't I know it?
This helps me not drink. Okay. No,
the gambling or the coffee?
The podcasting.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So it doesn't help my ambitions at all. That said, a little weed will help with my political opinions for sure. Okay, back to Fox News. Fox is talking about gambling on Trump and Satan's baby. Will it be a boy or girl? The Kalshi and Poly Market apps are mentioned. These are real apps, and in the traditional South Park ironic response from those that are in their targets, they celebrate when they're being talked about. Like JD Vance was like, "Hey, they talked about me." Kalshi was like, "Hey, we were mentioned on South Park." You fucking idiots.
I'm glad you have a nice front-facing, opinion.
On that note, speaking of JD Vance, who comes up here next, this is the first episode post Charlie Kirk.
Oh.
Kirk was killed on the 10th. This came out, I believe, on like the 27th of September.
Okay.
Today's the 1 month mark of Kirk's death, by the way.
Okay.
And so a lot of anticipation, at least for me. Like, what are they going to do? They obviously don't address it at all.
Yeah.
Smart. They go away from the Christian conservative
Smart.
theme that had dominated So interesting decisions by Matt and Trey here. Do you have any additional thoughts on what they chose to do in the first episode post Kirk, since they were implicated?
Matt and Trey are not idiots, and why would you throw gasoline on a fire? You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. And also, it's like they're just human beings, and
Right.
Charlie, it sucks. Like I don't. What he said sucked, and the way he died sucked, and the whole thing sucked. And so, why would you want to like be disrespectful on over someone's corpse, right? Like that's
Right, of course.
right. And I think that's probably the leading sort of vibe.
You're right. Yeah, I guess there's not too much to even break down on that.
Jesus
decision.
they didn't like what Jesus had to do, which was no phones, but they all ignored him anyways. They got on their apps and which
we're ignoring
go.
Christian conservatism,
or we're just ignoring the fact that like everyone, okay, not to get back on my soapbox, the Christian conservatives, it's been like a big TikTok thing or on my TikTok algorithm where it's like these guys, there are real Christians there are followers of Jesus. Mm-hmm. Then there were Christians, and the Christians are the ones that are very much a lot of them are Christian conservatives. Like they don't want to feed the hungry, and they don't want to like take in people of different races or different nationalities to the country for any sort of asylum or otherwise.
Money is the priority.
Money is the god. And Satan is classically, he rules the land, and if money rules the land, then I'm not, the prosperity gospel is really where a lot of modern day being the last like 200 years, Christians sort of like lost the plot. Even Catholics, classic Catholics, are interested in like, if you look at, I've been listening to a podcast about nuns, and it's like their whole deal is poverty. They love taking a vow of poverty. They love helping the impoverished. They love like that's their whole deal. Like the way they live is they don't even shower. They like get a bucket. You know what I mean? Like they live in like abject poverty on purpose. They take a vow. And so when you compare that with someone who's like, hey, give me your seedy money, and then I will pray to God that we can all be rich and have whatever, like Lamborghinis or Teslas or whatever the fuck, like that doesn't compute, and
also impose dominance upon everyone in the land, everyone in the nation.
They love that. Yeah, dominance is one man's game, and I think his name starts with an S and ends with Aiton. So
yeah, you could almost say that Christian conservatives are anti-Christ.
Wow.
Okay.
Not
Christ. Not Z.
No.
Anti-Christ.
Look, on some level, everything is like a body of people, right? And they are and the thing about the Antichrist that a lot of people get mistaken is they think it's just some evil dude, but really it's someone who's parading as a Christian. Yeah, that is
exactly.
Yeah, they are. Might be
a candidate for that now too.
Yeah. Okay, so I think so the fact that the people of South Park have Jesus as their principal or counselor or whatever, and they're ignoring him is I don't know if that was on purpose, but it was well played.
Interesting. And also, we are keeping with a religious theme. We're segueing now into Judaism,
right?
With a little inevitable tinge of Islam.
Well, they really just kind of hit the head that like evil actions are done by governments. Like, it's politics, and individuals aren't. While they can support it, one person can't really stop a war. But also, benevolent, good actions are also done by governments. Yes, if used correctly. Sure. Yeah. I'm just saying, helping the poor. Yeah. Right. Helping the immigrant. Yeah. Helping the marginalized. Helping. The oppressed. Okay. They can. We'll see if we can get a 2-hour pod in today. Yeah, no, I love it. Sure. I love that we have no shortage of things to talk about. Okay, Tattoo Vance is on the scene. He's got his gift baskets, his baby gifts that he's bringing to Daddy Trump, who's now not just a theoretical daddy to the masses of Republicans and Christian conservatives. He is becoming a real father. With that comes responsibility. You must give all your attention to your child
And Donald Trump doesn't really fit that mold as
Donald
the
Trump
supreme
has like
narcissist.
5 children.
Yeah, that I'm sure he didn't pay any attention to ever.
No, look, he paid a little, you know what? I take it back. He paid no attention to DJT, Donald Jr., because of how hungry that guy is.
Well, Eric as well. He's always been.
I know, but
he's a
I just think that Donald Jr. is very thirsty for his dad's approval.
And has become a cocaine addict. And Ivanka,
allegedly.
Yeah, right. Ivanka got a lot of attention because Don wanted to have sex with her, so that's why she got attention.
There is that creepy picture of her like way too old to be sitting on his lap. But also I feel for Ivanka because I feel like she's like Ophelia. She has no autonomy, you know, like she's being told what to do by everybody, misled.
Now Trump is instantly encouraging an abortion from Satan. And so we are introduced to some hijinks here by Matt and Trey about some silly slapstick on how Don Sr. wants to force an abortion onto Satan.
Which is funny because neither of those methods would stop a pregnancy.
Which ones?
Plan B would stop a pregnancy before it happened, but it's not an abortion.
Oh, right.
And then toxoplasmosis would fuck up the baby, but it would
abort
not
it.
stop the fall, or like, Well,
maybe it shows that Don doesn't necessarily think things through too
right,
well.
but also they kept him, you know, he's an idiot.
Hot tub and cigarettes are the first option that he brings up.
Satan cares about that baby. He's too smart for that.
Okay, we're getting back to the betting. Timmy, bets on Kyle's mom's Gaza strike. The odds are low. I think we're about 5% here that she will strike a Gaza hospital.
I loved when Cartman goes, of course I didn't bet on that because the odds are so low. Like, why would I bet on that? It was incredible. I was like, that they just made Cartman like stupid smart, and I loved it.
Kyle is upset, obviously. People are betting on his mom bombing a Gaza hospital. Mentioned that Jews and Palestinians are not a joke. It's not very funny to talk about this stuff, which is true. Then we're introduced to Donald Trump Jr., who is in charge of the predictive markets. He's the strategic advisor. Kyle calls him up to complain about this bet. Jr. gives him the runaround to the CFTC, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. And then, of course, Trump Jr. also runs that. This is us getting into the nepotism of the Trump world, the profiteering of the Trump world that's so blatant and out in the open, slowly becoming more and more of a topic. I mean, a lot of Democratic Congress people are continuing to talk about this. There's some blatant unethical profiting and illegal profiting around this, or maybe not so blatant, but it's certainly a topic worth talking about. We're also, the nepotistic energy of the Trump world, and sycophantic energy, which is covered in another episode, is just so ironic when these people complain about DEI and qualifications and expertise and how blatantly all these people are unqualified to do their jobs. They just
don't want other people in there so they can do their nepotism.
Yeah. Oh, and they're profiting. Okay, we're coming to the end of Act 1. I split this up into 3 acts, Amy. Okay, 7.5 minutes each.
Okay.
22 minutes, 30-second episode.
That's some good number running.
Yeah, thank you. So Kyle's upset because this bet is offensive to Jewish people. He gets directed to the FCC now, third party or third entity, and we're introduced to Brendan Carr, the head of the FCC. But Trump answers again at the FCC, and then gets Carr involved, and now he goes to the president. Brendan Carr is my age, except he's bald, gray hair, and gray beard.
I love it when time treats people how they deserve to be treated.
There's one thing I wanted to mention. I feel like this is the only mild allusion to Kirk in this episode, and it's a stretch. It's always fascinating to pay attention to the photos and words in the background of a South Park episode. Sometimes today.
Right.
There's some things that I even missed, like at the French restaurant menu I didn't look at. But there's Carr in a Yankees jersey in the background.
Okay.
So the New York Yankees, from a very liberal community, but also from where Donald Trump grew up.
Oh, sure.
And became rich, but also was a reject amongst the
We all know he would have been in the South.
The upper class.
Well, no, Trump wouldn't have been a Yank. He would have been a Confederate. But go on.
No, he's just a Yank rejected by the Yanks.
Yeah.
So the Yankees kind of now infamously gave this tribute to Charlie Kirk the day that he died.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you go back and see some of the things that Kirk said that are so kind of divisive and stoking kind of anger amongst black communities and whatnot. Carr in a Yankee jersey, it's like that's the only thing I could see connected to Kirk was as mild criticism of the Yankees for lauding him when he passed.
I would say too, this entire deal with the FCC feels very Kirk coded because of the Jimmy Kimmel of it all.
Oh, right. 100%,
and
right.
yeah, so I feel like they were doing a lot of talking around it without speaking to it, which obviously the FCC the issue with Paramount? No, that was Trump actually. That was him suing first, and then now the FCC is involved with Kirk.
Right.
So, I think that was sort of perhaps, but no, that's a good catch. That's a good catch.
And they don't mention Kimmel this episode, even though this happened after the Kimmel thing.
Right.
I like how they
just kind of what a joke the FCC is. Yeah.
Okay, Act 2.
Allegedly.
Trump is now trying to abort Satan. We have the Crisco on the stairs. There's a little bit of this style of storytelling in the Labubu episode where it's pretty kind of intellectually dumbed down a little bit. We're not trying to do anything crazy here in terms of stoking your senses. There's some intentionality there by Matt and Trey.
You can't be at 11 the whole time.
Yeah,
you have to be dynamic, and you have to give your audience a minute to rest. And I don't know if that's what they're doing, but I know I can't just be what does this mean? I just want to. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar,
But,
so
that's what I realize every time I do notes on this show is that there are 22-minute episodes, and the amount of shit packed into these things, even on these episodes where they give us a little bit of a respite. That's what's so impressive about what they do is just the constant 1-2 punches. And if you're only doing a 22-minute episode, I think you kind of can just do one right left hook after another if you want to.
Yeah.
So they're really making a decision here to take a little bit of a break.
It also is a comedy.
Right.
I do like the idea that it was sort of slapstick. Let me go ahead and put the Plan B into the soup. Let me get the cats with the toxoplasmosis, which was a deep cut, by the way. Toxoplasmosis is not necessarily the most well-known thing, but I loved it. I thought
I did too,
because that's one of my favorite, fun facts about cats. So
the Crisco on the stairs is very Home Alone.
Yeah.
Of course, Brendan Carr steps in to where Satan should be on the end of these plots by Trump, but Carr is the victim. He slips on the stairs, breaks his ankles, I guess, his legs. We're back to Kyle. Kyle's mad.
Really? There's no part of you that goes some kind of karmic or judgment by that you and Carr are the same age and you've done you karmically have the lives that you have, and he looks like that and you look like you look.
Well, I actually live like a nun or Jesus,
right?
Without bragging, quote unquote, about it,
right? They go to games all the time. They go and see their favorite sports games all the time. Didn't you just go this weekend out of town? That's okay. You know what? Everyone enjoys a good time.
I mean, in terms of
no, I know what you
embracing lower classes or not embracing wealth or a variety of things, accepting in. Fighting for the poor or the marginalized or the immigrant.
I get you.
So I look a lot younger than Carr because of it. That's a good theory. Where are we? Okay. Kyle's pissed. Because Kyle gets mad.
Hold on, but that makes my point, though, is that you do the things that are better it serves humanity more, and you are rewarded by having younger looks in a way. Well, this is true. If you look at people who do evil deeds, if they don't fuck up their faces with plastic surgery, they look
Stephen
all
Miller.
munched.
Stephen Miller's a great example too.
Right, and so it's right, and so That's all I'm saying. There's there's a karmic reality to our actions and the way that we carry that energy in our body.
I appreciate being on the good side of that.
I'm just saying, yeah.
Okay, so Kyle gets mad, which affects the odds, and there's always like an inherent conflict of interest in gambling, and Cartman recognizes that, and that you can affect odds if you have kind of firsthand access to the person that is part of the bet.
Right.
The one thing that always, in such a benign way, is like there's a bet on the national anthem, the length of the national anthem during a Super Bowl every year. They have all these weird Super Bowl bets.
Yeah, no, the side bets. Yeah, yeah.
The easiest bet to manipulate ever. I'm kind of surprised that, like, you know, the friends of the singer don't
it's the people who are betting on these things.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's targeting them.
Yeah.
Right? It is easy to manipulate.
Cartman,
but also, you know, you got to hit that money note, and sometimes it's just going to sing. So
Cartman is obviously the ultimate antagonist, and he is now trying to sway the odds of this bet for his own benefit. We go to the Cafe Monet, little brunch, little lunch with the moms. They're engaging in some app talk, as parents do.
It sounded like a commercial the way they were talking about it. I mean, like, because I play like stupid games online sometimes.
Sure, I spend money on my game that I play. Yeah.
Right. But it's like, it's also like, wouldn't it be great if you could make money online? And it's like, ooh, red flag. But yeah, that sounds like them. I was like, they've been advertised too.
I call that corny capitalism.
Yes, and it works.
So the moms ask Sheila. She's always been referred to as Kyle's mom. I'm sure this isn't the first time her name's come up. First time I've ever seen her first name, so her name's Sheila. The moms ask Sheila about Gaza. We get the instant inkling that they are involved in this bet, or they know about it. They're trying to get tips. Sheila, of course, gets upset and talks about the implied responsibility of the Jewish American on the Israel-Palestine conflict. And this is where we can get into some actual potentially good conversations here.
Well, some of the most well-spoken people I've seen speak out against Israel are like American Jews.
Hopefully, yes, that's a good case scenario.
No, obviously, like, again, my algorithm is like giving me, things that I would like to see, but that's what I mean. I'm thinking about Adam Friedland. I'm thinking about Hannah Einbinder. Like, I guess those are the two main ones, but they've been they don't just like come out against it. They have like, knowledge of why, and they've got historical understanding of why. Then they have personal buy-in of why, like, this is the worst thing you could do for someone. Like, I'm going to be persecuted because of the way that we're doing this over here. Anyways, it's really that's what I've come to realize.
And by the way, there are massive protests in Israel about the Israeli government and what they're doing. So it's not just Israel's not just this blanket supportive population.
Not a Jewish person, but Greta Thunberg really coming in strong this last week with coming back after being captured on her flotilla to bring aid to the people of Gaza, and everyone's like, you're a hero, and she goes, I'm not the story. And I was like, this is incredible.
Well, she brought to light the abysmal conditions in which people captured or exposed to. There's also, the same exact thing happening in America, obviously, with people being captured. The conditions they're thrown into are also abysmal. The South Korean workers for Hyundai that were just released, they talked about how abysmal the conditions were. So this is that synchronicity between Israel and America of just like abject, inhumanity.
Well, what we did, look, I'll say it to the mountaintops. I love living in my town. I'm so happy that I get to be an American. There are lots of bad things that come with that, but there's also lots of great things that come with being an American. That is all to say, it is incredibly similar the way that we came over here and took this fucking nation from the natives. Right. And so I'm sure they're just hoping that like 100 years passes like a blink of an eye, and then people forget what it was like when all the people who were closer to the land, there is a I think I've spoken on this before, but there's like a concerted effort to remove people from their nature. So whether that's tribal, whether that's like people like native, whatever there is like a true effort to remove people from their rhythms, their way of being, the thing that comes natural and inherent in us. Because at the end of the day, what happens when we are overtaken so much, like this came from a book called The Rape of the Mind by a survivor of the Holocaust, saying they beat him down so much without killing him that at some point there is something that wakes up inside of you that is like incredibly natural and inherent and to who we are, that we all pretty much have, where it's like absolutely fucking not. Like it stops working. People stop. It's like one of the things that gives me the most hope about the world is that like there is a point for everyone at which it is so bad, the conditions are so shitty that like you stop complying, you stop doing the things that you're supposed to do, and that is the exact instinct I believe that like the colonizing right is trying to snuff. Because they would like complete control, whether it's what I mean, and also technology is used along with
they being the
this.
Richest among us.
Yeah, well, I'm saying they being like the richest colonizing entity, like whether they, even if they don't like have an actual meeting, you know, that was one of the funniest parts about the movie One Battle After Another to me was the Christmas, or like the Christmas group or whatever, just like sort of how lame they were and how old.
That's rich whiteness.
Right, but they also, they'll cut a bitch. You know what I mean? Like they will go in. Yes. And so like do not mistake their softness or like their senility for weakness, because they will get it done and they will get it done from a bunker where like they will not be consequent to their actions, you know? And so
this is where the kind of wealthy and powerful Christian intersects with the wealthy and powerful Jewish person. It's like they're all willing to do anything to retain their wealth and power.
It's so crazy because this is a departure from South Park for a minute, but Sean Penn's character obviously would have been like, except for the fact that he had a baby with a black woman, which was not okay for that group, he would have been the best candidate for that group. Like he would have rode so hard for the Christmas, like, and that's what's so crazy is they're like, you can't even. Yeah. It's absolutely bonkers. And anyways, see that movie if you get a chance. See it in the theaters.
I'm gonna go watch it.
You're gonna go fall in love with Tiana Taylor is what you're gonna do. She's
Chase Infinities. She's the one that I found.
But Tiana, and you didn't see the first 15 minutes. True. Tiana Taylor is like,
can't believe that we missed that part.
Yeah, no, she's incredible.
Okay, we're at the dinner. This is when, so Sheila, Kyle's mom, says, it's not Jews versus Palestine, it's Israel versus Palestine. This is a very important point that to me is obvious, but isn't to most people, and needs to be reiterated in, the proverbial hour that I'm a part of, criticisms of Israel over the past 2 years. October 7th, by the way, just 2-year anniversary just happened as well. And I remember Russell Peters, a pretty famous comedian who really has huge fan bases in different countries. It's kind of knowledgeable about this stuff. I remember him saying, I think shortly after October 7th, like, this is not about Jewish people and Muslim people. It's about white people and brown people. And that it's really the white invasiveness of Israel. And like, it's we're kind of, human beings ultimately kind of revert to prison gangs end of the day. It's like it does come about kind of a racial kind of tribalism, like and our goal as academics in particular is to evolve past that. And we make a lot of strides there that we see pushback with the white Christian conservative culture that's trying to implement their way onto the masses, the American masses. But the world. The world, right? Yeah. But when you look at it through that lens, it does help a lot, and it helps you not become anti-Semitic, which we'll get into a bit. It's not about hating Jewish people in any sense whatsoever. That said, there are people who I refuse to be friends with now that because they're all in on supporting Israel throughout this whole thing, and those people will say that you're being anti-Semitic if you don't support Israel, which is just
but it's
so
really
insane.
Your support of Israel is what is like. You could be like you could be like a Korean woman and be in support of Israel, and I would really have the same feelings.
Right.
Yeah, it is very tough when someone, especially when they're young. I have a younger friend that's like maybe 22, 23 and very supportive of Israel, has just come back in the last 2 or 3 years from his like very like propagandized trip,
Do I know who you're talking about?
No, I don't think so. And it's like when I hear that because I've heard enough testimony of people that have been to Birthright and they come back and they really write hard for Israel because the stuff but their minds have been sort of taken over, and so I sort of have to look at you like, is your frontal lobe developed yet?
Right.
Things like that. And how much do you really, are these your thoughts, or have you been like the Holocaust? When presented as what it is like incredibly, you don't want that to happen again, which is why it's so wild that they can't, and this is the frontal lobe,
see that they're doing it now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And they see it only as like and it's like, it's not a defense, dude. You guys are on the offense. I mean, like go back to sports betting. They're on the offense. Right. And so anyways. And
there are, obvious parallels between this Republican government and ICE and what they're doing too. Whether it's the Gestapo or concentration camps, whatnot. So yeah, we see it in both places, Israel and America. We are back. What an episode, just marching along.
Yeah, I think I started this by being like, I don't want to talk about this, but there's been plenty to say.
Oh, this is the Israel episode. This is amazing. We just got to make sure we keep it under 2 hours.
Absolutely.
The White House kitchen. We're in the White House kitchen. Trump makes his Plan B soup. But Satan doesn't like carrots. I don't know if there's some metaphor here. I couldn't really spot it.
All I can think of is what a carrot like a carrot moves you forward, carrot. Or like stick and carrot maybe, but like because I think Satan likes to be the one to give you carrots. Like, but I don't know.
Yeah,
actually, Satan probably likes the stick, right? Like
yeah, who doesn't like carrots?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, there we go. That's good. That's a good.
I don't know.
Mild reach. Instead, he ordered cheesecake on DoorDash.
I mean, who among us?
Brendan Carr, of course, steps in and tries the soup, and then he torpedo shits all over the bedroom. Sheila, if we can keep moving. Sheila is mad at the dinner table. Oh, I forgot to say that when Sheila gets upset at lunch with the moms go onto the app, and the odds get better because Sheila's upset. So the more upset she gets, the more the odds grow that she will bomb a Palestinian hospital.
That is such an insane allegation.
Well, we'll see. Let's wait till the end.
I know. It's just the idea of someone's mom taking it upon themselves to like go and bomb it's
Well, and that is the nuance of the episode, is that, in one sense, I think that Matt and Trey would just be all in on like defending Palestine.
Right.
But I do like that they're kind of getting at this at least mild nuance of the situation and the Jewish Americans' plight and all of that. So we're going to continue to break that down here. Sheila's mad now at the dinner table with her family about this implied responsibility of the Jewish American. Why is everyone confronting us? It's just pure anti-Semitism. Says non-Jews know nothing about this conflict. So I have some problems here with what Sheila's saying. Why is everyone confronting us? I mean, I think it's okay to, I guess the confrontation, the way you go about that is the issue there, but you can ask Jewish people where they stand on this. I don't know. Maybe that's worth debating. Maybe that is unfair to a degree. But it's also very easy for a Jewish person to say that they're against it and leave it at that.
I don't like war.
Right. I don't like mass murdering children.
Yeah.
To say it's just pure anti-Semitism, that's where we get into no, it's okay to ask somebody or criticize the massacre of children.
Well, and I think we see the payoff of that in the very end of the episode when Sheila's over there and she goes, how dare you?
She flips, exactly.
Yeah. Because she gets it,
And then to say that non-Jews know nothing about that's such a
and maybe
baseless.
It's right, but I think maybe that's also important because it's like if she flips, then it's like all this pressure of her to be like this, you know, like, and it all kind of like cooked her to the point where like she was done. And I think that that's kind of the thing too, is like if everyone's like treating a Jewish person like it's on their shoulders solely, then it's like, well, fuck, dude, this is actually doing a lot worse for me than it would be as if like we weren't like involved at all. Like if you could just actually stop putting this on my shoulders, you know, Netanyahu or whatever. Like,
well, there's that. That's good. And this is where we get into kind of the intellectual nature of this episode, I think, and her flipping at the end adds to this a big time. There's what you just mentioned. There's, as someone who's been highly critical of Israel from the day one, I've never brought up Jewish Americans in my criticisms ever. Don't even think about that. It doesn't matter. All that matters is who supports it and who doesn't. Like you mentioned, the Korean women's sport. Like, I don't care what you are. And then often it's, you know, look, the Democratic Party essentially lost the presidential election because of their tacit support for Israel. Kamala and Biden just continuing to support Israel while we could see what's going on. I think a lot of Democrats stayed home, particularly Muslim Democrats, brown Democrats stayed home because of this, and rightfully so. The far left was emboldened because of this and said, you know, don't vote for Democrats because they're supporting this. That's hurt the party tremendously. So, yeah, I don't like focus on American Jewish people when it comes to this.
That
conflict.
is how in bed we are, though, with Israel, is that neither party can say they disavow.
Which the Democrats definitely should. They should be
100%, but they literally, I mean, liberals, right? Not even Democrat, like, because there's so many different shades.
I'm grouping
of that.
them together.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, classic neoliberal bullshit, like, which I have bought into for a very long time, or I had, like, they can't, like, we have a very braided, tangled relationship with Israel because of how we got here and because of our deal with World War II and all that shit. And so it's first of all, you can't just say I'm done with this country, and they really have you. Well, you can't because politically,
saying I'm done
no,
with
yes, you can, but like someone who. When you look about who's funding politics and like who your loyalties are because of finances,
who your investors are,
yes, who your investors are. I mean, like I'm rewatching Ozark, and it's like at some point you can't leave your partners. Like you will get killed; they will kill your family. Right. And so, and it's how worth it is it to you, and like how much do you want to? Look, had Kamala not run, right, and had she had to like come in late, and there was no prime candidate for the Democrats, unfortunately, because it was the weakest shit.
It was a mess how that
and
happened.
Whitney Webb has been shouting from the rooftops for the last like 10 years that there's been interference from other countries to like definitely make us like lose faith in our elections.
Right.
So less voter turnout. And so when I see people like I can't vote, I understand like from a philosophy where you're coming from, but I'm also like
it's not practical.
It's fucking not practical, man, because like what we're doing it over here now. And it's like it could have been slowed down, which would have given us the amount of like breathing room to potentially, there's just a lot of alternate realities that could have happened if we weren't here right now.
A lot to bring up here based on what you just said. One, I want to mention
just
that,
simple.
That, you know, there's a government shutdown, but aid to Israel is deemed necessary and continues while we're not paying troops at home. You know, they've gotten like $41 billion over the last 2 years or something, which would be enough to fund healthcare here at home while they get healthcare. There's this very blatant kind of stranglehold that Israel has over our country's pocketbooks and our tax dollars. That is, I guess, silver lining, one of the few unifying forces between the far right and the far left. Right? Like,
yeah. Horseshoe theory.
Where we're like, this is not obviously okay. There's that. There is, you mentioned like, you know, keep your partners or we'll kill you. There is a ton of conspiracies around Charlie Kirk's death.
Right. And Candace Owens. Yeah.
Yeah, she's done a lot to bring to light. Again, where we're getting some connection now between the far left and right, which is always interesting. You know, that you can go down those rabbit holes. There's some pretty compelling evidence, some pretty obvious phony or nefarious things that have have come out through government that's saying what has actually happened. It's kind of impossible or false, conversations, whatever. So yeah, that's all.
It's a crazy time. End of story. Like, it's who knows what's going to happen next. Although, when you brought up the government shutdown, in theory, if money still had to transfer using airplanes or like using like physical money, that would not even be guaranteed safety, because the air traffic control is not even guaranteed payment. Like, there's just so many things where it's like, you liked civilization, yeah? Well,
I was lucky that I didn't fly out of Burbank when I was in LA.
Yeah, I've been anyone who has a flight in the next month, I'm just like, may the odds be ever in your favor.
And then on that note too, there's the professor, I forget what school he's from, that specializes in anti-fascism. That his flight got canceled like after he made it through TSA. Once he got to the counter, suddenly his flight's canceled. So there's this like concept of like, if you speak out against this government or fascism now, Bondi and Noam mentioned that they're going to treat anti-fascists just like any terrorist organizations and like kill you, even though it's not a real organization. So there's just like this fascistic, like, oh, you're not leaving the country, buddy.
I have not seen it myself, but this is kind of it's on topic in that so the Trump face, Mar-a-Lago face, right? Apparently Marjorie Taylor Greene has taken a departure from that. And like, she's starting to look
saying
different.
Some very
and like, it's
good
interesting,
things.
that her face is like her back makeup. Yeah, it's just interesting to me that all of a sudden, like, new tune, new hair, who dis, like.
On that note, highly important for Democrats to accept MAGAs who are evolving in their opinions toward kind of the needs of the middle class or the needs of the lower classes, in which she is doing. So don't be on this like, we're never going to take you back tip. Like, that's my line, where it's like, you're taking it too far if you're just like,
don't be a purist.
Yeah, if you're just,
because who was a purist? The eugenicists that used to work for the Nazis. You know what I mean? Like, you have to like take people, but who liked redemption? Jesus. Yeah. Just putting it out there.
And look, I will put a continued Trump supporter in exile for sure. But the second that they change, I'll welcome you in. And you're right, it is Jesus like to do that. Okay.
You're welcome.
Kyle, okay. Good God, this episode's hectic. Okay.
Or is it just us?
Yeah. Come on.
That's it. It's where the rubber meets the road.
Kyle's brother. So they're at the dinner table, where Kyle's mom's very, very upset. Kyle's little brother now getting on the app betting yes that his mom will bomb a hospital. The odds are up to 60% now. They've skyrocketed. Kyle is suggesting that us Jews should lay low for a little bit, or speak out against it. And then the mom says complacency. So there's this kind of can do no right or response toward the kind of prototypical American Jewish person. Complacency if you lay low. You're anti-Semitic if you criticize, which implies, just like, I guess I don't know what the implication. Well, I don't know what Kyle's mom wants at this point, really, because she's not supporting it. She just doesn't want to be accused of. She wants putting the responsibility on her shoulders.
She doesn't want the entire world to be betting for. I mean, like, she doesn't know that explicitly, but like that's probably what it feels like. Is this Jewish woman loves Israel and she wants to bond. And that's probably what it feels like to be someone who's, a discerning thinker in 2025 who's also Jewish. Although I don't know. But
so Tattoo Vance now has more gifts. He brings a cat as a gift. This is where we introduced the toxoplasmosis, which is cat shit thing.
So many people have it.
Really?
Probably Trump has it because it makes you a really high risk taker. Okay. Like you are to a fault.
Maybe that's the subtle implication there by Matt and Trey.
No, I don't think so. Okay. But yeah.
Trump dumps a ton of kitty litter in the attic. It's supposed to be dumped on Satan, but of course, car gets dumped on, falls to the floor. We're back to Cartman. He's now betting $1,400 on no. That so he drives the odds up on the yes, and now he slides in at the end and bets 1,400 on no.
Yeah, the most he could get his hands on.
Well, he steals his mom's debit card, which is also a thing that happens with these
It's
apps.
also children who are betting, which I think is a great commentary, because it's like there's really no way to, authenticate.
Cartman with the famous last words, "Nothing can go wrong," and then Kyle's mom was in Israel. This is the end of Act 2. We're an hour 20 into the pod. We're booking along here.
We'll be done in a half hour.
1:30. Okay, Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera, by the way, has done some great reporting over the past 2 years. There's Al Jazeera America, which I'm surprised hasn't been just like eviscerated by the Trump admin.
They can't regulate the internet.
They
try, but they, VPN.
There's the Arabic broadcaster speaking in Arabic. All you can understand is Kyle's mom and what he's saying. Kyle's sulking at school. Cartman is now panicking. Whatever your mom is doing is only going to make kids here more anti-Semitic. So now that he risks losing a bet, now he really cares about
changing his tactics
about Jewish people. Yeah. Call the Israeli government, he says. Call a diplomat. Call an embassy. Someone who works for Israel.
Yeah.
It does feel like this is kind of how the world works these days.
Yeah.
Just the special access.
Cartman's just the mercenary. He does whatever it takes to get it done.
So Kyle contacts a special advisor to Israel, which again is Don Jr. Cartman's tell him to take the bet down. It's anti-Semitic, and you have to fight for what you believe in. This is what's prescient about this is that Kyle, all he cares about is money, which is the case for the
Kyle
Trump.
Or Cartman.
I'm sorry, Cartman. Thank you. Which is a case for the Trump world, which is a case for a lot of the American way of living and of getting wealthy. It's like there are no morals and ethics. It's just about how to make a buck. So you're on that side of that no matter what. Which again, anti-Christ to do that.
You'd have to believe in Christ first.
True. Kyle and Don Jr. now are on the phone. Don says, your complaint is being reviewed by the head of the FCC. Then we go to Brendan Carr in the hospital, all casted up with shitty drawers. And the doctor diagnoses him with the toxoplasmosis. Tattoo Vance comes in with another gift. It's a flower, I think, this time. And the doctor, while Vance is in there, says, if the toxoplasmosis gets to his brain, he may lose his freedom of speech. So there's the line of the episode right there. Usually, and again, that's like our feelings about this episode, maybe the last one too, is like we're kind of used to Matt and Trey just hitting us with lines like that, like one after the other. But we're only getting like one or two of those really solid lines per episode. Just interesting. You wonder, and they're supposed to do it weekly. They famously do the shows kind of week by week.
8 weeks.
And this season, they're really taking 2-3 weeks in between episodes. It's like, I would love a doc, behind the scenes doc on what they are going through this season.
Yeah.
Like, God, I want to see that so bad.
Yeah.
Because we're not really given real reasons as to why they're taking time with episodes. Being very vague about it publicly. So there's our line for the episode. Vance. Okay, so this is when JD is confronting Vance in the hospital. The menacing JD tattoo Vance. Mr. Carr, why do you keep meddling in my plans? I've been trying to continue, what's that word? Oh, I've been trying to convince the boss to get rid of the baby. I'm the next in line to be president.
Which would still be true if he had the baby.
Well, yeah. He says that baby cannot be born, and if you continue to interfere, I will make things very difficult for you. We can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. Now, this is what Carr famously said on one of those shitty fucking right-wing podcasts about Jimmy Kimmel. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. He, of course, was mocked for that as like some type of mob boss. Trump, we've talked about, is kind of, by those who know, very much has mobster tendencies, not just in personality, but relationships in real life, specifically the Russian mob. And of course, there's like the New York mob kind of culture and the
There's also
real
just
estate.
MAGA.
Yeah. What do mobsters in New York famously like say their profession is?
They're garbage men.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
sanitation.
Yeah. Sanitation.
Yeah.
Okay, we're winding down now. What an episode! Good God, I know I said that already. POTUS chair is empty. The phone rings. Who answers? You ask. Don Jr. He's now talking to himself. This is really smart. It's a self-dialogue, a mono-dialogue, if you will. Ooh, I'm a special advisor to you, he says. I can get the bet taken down. This speaks to the reality of this system that they want to put in place where,
right.
they're all in charge of everything and are making decisions on multiple fronts from the top.
Authoritarianism.
Oh, yeah, there you go. We're back to the playground. The bet is taken down, of course. The money's returned to the people who bet on it. These apps are totally corrupt, is the consensus by those who wanted to bet. This speaks to just, I guess, the lack of ethics or, real rules here. Anything can just be done by those in charge in order for them to profit. Jesus blows the whistle because the kids are on their phone and shouts out for the love of God. Kyle. How we doing, Amy? We're still doing
We're good. I'm here.
Sorry, I'm doing a lot of talking here.
No.
Kyle's on the playground. Bet's taken down. Oh, I'm sorry. Kyle is now thanking Cartman on the steps. No one else gave a crap about how I was feeling except for you. Which Kyle, we have a long history of South Park. Kyle's still falling for Cartman's fake sincerity. Kyle reveals that his mom wasn't going to bomb the hospital ever, and he knew that, and so Cartman is upset. Okay, we're at the end. Mom goes to Israel to give them a piece of her mind. I have a little bit of Jewishness in my family that I actually just learned about recently, from my grandma's Polish side.
Okay.
And her personality really fit this prototype of like Kyle's mom. I guess it gets to the kind of like, and you could develop stereotypes of how all groups, quote unquote, kind of behaviors amongst that group, whether it's, the Islamic mother or father, or the black mother or father, or the Christian conservative mother or father,
or like a cowboy, and
yeah. So there is something to the kind of like. And again, I'm not being racist here.
No,
I'm
it's
just pointing out stereotypes.
It's the tribal shit that we're always talking about.
Right.
That like, as much as you think it's better to like shake it, it's like, and it probably is. But there is just like a reality that like we are we are in a school of fish,
So what's just kind of blatant here, by the way, and what Matt and Cherry are doing is like this kind of the Jewish anger from the mother. Like it's such a thing I'm just like familiar with. My grandmother was not an angry person, but it's just that energy of kind of like.
The righteous anger.
Give you a piece of my mind, and just the energy that comes with that they really are capturing in this episode. That is hard to talk about because it is stereotypical, but it's so here, and she has to give Israel a piece of her mind because her opinion's very, very important.
Yes,
and you're talking about the righteousness of it all, and that
she's been crossed.
I have righteousness in the way I speak? I don't know. I mean, it does. There is some detail, some fine details here that we need to point out when it comes to: are you being righteous in the sense that you feel entitled that your opinion is correct? She's being righteous,
not self-righteous. You know what I mean? Like it is involve her, but it's like at the end of the day, it doesn't have much to do with her what she says. It's like, look, this is like fucked up what you're doing, and
she finally says that,
so right? Well, no, because it's her arc,
Yeah. So she goes to Israel, give them a piece of her mind, and there we have, we're at the Prime Minister's office. She bursts in on Netanyahu and his advisors. Have we seen Netanyahu this season?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so it's the first Netanyahu scene. I'm wondering if we're going to see more of him in episodes to come.
Curious, yeah.
Sheila says, just who do you think you are? Killing thousands and flattening neighborhoods. than wrapping yourself in Judaism like it's some shield for criticism. So this is the badass line number 2, I guess, of the episode. So true. And it's important to note that she has evolved in this episode to say something like this. I love it. You're making life for American Jews impossible. You know what you're doing, and you're doing it on purpose. It's not going to get anywhere, Buster.
That's right, Buster.
And that's how our episode closes. She continues to yap in maybe a stereotypical fashion.
Yeah. As she should.
That's our episode. Any final comments on how this episode ends? Or I know we covered a million things in an hour and a half here.
I thought it ended well. I mean, I think that that's an important line, and I think that that's something that should be explicit in the zeitgeist from a piece of popular culture. I feel like that is something that people can have arrived at, right? Like thinking people. Yeah. And then I think a lot of people still do get it conflated, Israel and Jewish people.
Right.
And there is a lot of anti-Semitism because of the way that Israel is behaving.
Which, in a sense, is inevitably going to happen to some degree, right?
That's why they shouldn't... Look, if you have a history where you have been... Like, the whole point is that people are anti-Semitic. It's not that you shouldn't do something because you don't want to be perceived as someone to have like hate against your people. Like, right. Like they could, if they were actually defending themselves and not this like, right. Not the fight that we're being shown. There would be a reason to defend yourself and like put up with that sort of perception, but it's like there's no need to put your people through this. And I mean, like, but his people aren't,
or the Palestinian people,
right? Well, especially, his people aren't even Jewish people. Netanyahu is not the god of the Jewish.
He's from Pennsylvania, by the way.
Oh, well, whoever he is, yeah, he's not. But his people that he leads are Israel. Right. Israelis, and a lot of I don't understand what's going on the ground over there from a Jewish perspective. I just know that over here it is and I'm also not subject to the propaganda that the Israelis are being told. And also you can't like not be a part of the army. Like if there's a lot of really tough things that are happening over there. And there's a lot of like they went through a lot in the 40s and 30s and so on. Mm-hmm. So there's a reason that those rules exist. They're being exploited right now, as far as I'm concerned, and it's really it's a terrible time for humanity. Period. Yeah, we in today's day and age, at home it's the videos of ICE kidnappings that we can see that help us, fuel our angry motivation in a critical way of what's happening in over there in Gaza. It's the pictures of children's brains pouring out of their skulls and seeing that over and over. Yeah. And there is something to what I see as some activist actor talking about this, like the way in that we've just accepted abject cruelty a lot of people have is just very different. And it's tough to say things are different now than they were in the past. So usually that's never the case. These things have always existed, but they're happening on such a mass scale that is also broadcast on the media and social media, and there's no, that was part of what Greta Thunberg said, is there's not a single one among us who can say that we didn't see this on our phones. Like, we know what this looks like, we know what's happening, so you can't claim that you don't know. Yeah, and in my opinion, I mean, what's really also, 2 years ago opened a lot of our eyes, even those of us who consider ourselves academic or informed and read a lot or watch a lot, listen to a lot, did open a lot of our eyes to the recent history of Israel and just the behaviors of Israel toward the Palestinian. And to me, it's so black and white. I mean, I have no dog in this fight. Like, whether it's against Christian conservatives or, Zionist Israelis that want what's happening, it's like, you can really have an objective eye towards these things. Like, it's not about an individual, anything to gain from this. It's just purely analytical and objective.
And to me, just the state of Israel is just like, it's completely invasive, and it's completely a strong arm power that is just like inflicting misery upon the people that were already there over and over, decade after decade. And so, you get an October 7th retaliation. That's, do you have to respond to that? Sure. But also, it's to be expected. It's like when you go invade someone's living room, it's like, and they're in the attic, like they're gonna try to get you out of the living room. Like it's
sort of like what I was thinking with Charlie Kirk, which is like, I wish it didn't have to happen, but in like the law of action and reaction, right? Like physics, it's someone is going to react, and perhaps not in a way that anybody wants, and then that is going to be taken how it's going to be taken.
Yeah, but this is, I mean, obviously the scale is different, but that aside, like, I think there's a real menacing evil that drives a lot of this Zionist Israeli behavior, and that it's like, these people are subhuman. We are the chosen ones. We are more special. We are more valuable. And this is a problem within all religions. It's that it gets to where, like, we're the chosen ones. We're special. You're not.
Well, it's not even just religion. It's like American exceptionalism,
That too,
like
yeah.
we believe that
Right.
it was manifest destiny,
Right.
like we're over here because God ordained it. It's crazy to think that, like, that's what this country was founded
Or just
on.
these brown people in the sand are just not as valuable as us. They're not as human as us.
They're
we saw it
not,
with
yeah.
Afghanistan and Iraq, 20-some years ago. It
Right.
was kind of our first kind of introduction to that for a lot of those of us who are our age now. But
On that note, I studied for a while why we were over there so much, and like obviously there are many theories, but one was because we wanted to, as a military, learn city combat. And if you look at what's happening with ICE now and everything, it's like it's been a part of the plan for
I think
a minute.
I made a couple memes back in Santa Barbara back in 2012, and one of them was of a soldier. And I just put practice underneath it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that, you could, all these things are practice leading up to something. I don't know.
Final destination.
Yes. We haven't even talked about the kind of, the religious narrative of this all, and the Holy Land being a place that, people need to go to get called back up to heaven and all that.
Yeah, and it's what's wild too is so many people want this to happen so that it can bring Jesus. Honestly, if there's anything this has done, it's resurrected Christ. And I say this like with my full chest, because what I've noticed a lot of people gaining the discernment for lately is like, that is not Christian. That is not something Christ would say. That is. And so I'm like, oh, people have this new understanding of what it is to be someone who appreciates Christ. And not everyone, not the most, probably the people who could benefit from it the most, but I have really been like, wow, this is crazy, because what they meant to, what they were saying was that life on earth will get so intolerable, and the Antichrist will have come back, as you were talking about it in those terms, where the people who think that are, masquerading under the flag of Christianity, much like that's under the flag of, Judaism, hiding themselves from that so they can like become the sheep, that has, I don't even know where I'm saying, but like that's my point, is that we have had the rise of the Antichrist, and now like that has made us really understand, those with eyes to see, what Christ actually stood for and meant, and whether or not you like to say you believe in someone's like actual existence is insane. Like the dude existed. Whether you believe in his message, also crazy, because like if you say that you don't believe in like helping people and like that people can change and like your heart should lead you on certain matters, there's just a lot of stuff where it's like you don't have to be a Christian to have those values. And I think that's what you've said the whole time. But I do think those values originated sort of from this archetype of Christ.
Well, and that was one of Kirk's arguments, coincidentally. Or like Stephen Miller.
Please don't shoot me. Yeah.
I mean, I'm bringing up the kind of teachings of Christ now publicly more just to point out the hypocrisy. I know we talked about the kind of the failings of going down the road of calling out hypocrisy, but I can't help it. That's going to be my
They
thing.
don't get off on being hypocrites. They don't understand. That's
Right.
I've been quoted as saying that like they are the most unself-aware group of people that ever existed, and it's because they're so focused on the almighty dollar.
Right. I think it's important to mention that, like, you know, some of us who are pointing out the teachings of Christ in order to point out the blatant hypocrisy of conservative Christians, it's not because we think that like that we suddenly have become like converts to Christianity and we think the teachings of Christ are the right way. You mentioned some of the positive inherent qualities of it, but end of the day, and we can end the pod on this, look, these are books written by people that have some values in them. They have some horrible things in them too. All Abrahamic religions, to me, the first post I posted after October 7th, 2023, that I lost a friend over, was that they're both insane. Fundamentalist Jews, fundamentalist Muslims, they're all crazy in that they think that their religion is the ultimate truth, and they're going to kill any and all outside of that. These are just stories. These are just fables. They're parables.
I am going to quote the amazing Carolyn Miss when I say that religion is the politics of God, and God wants nothing to do with that.
Excellent way to end. Let's get out of here.
We gotta go. Bye.
I want to plug.
Okay, please.
The Living Directors is on YouTube and Instagram. We do an audio only pod, which I love. The only audio only now on the AC. So go to Apple or Spotify for that. At Living Directors on YouTube. At Living Directors just on Instagram. Yeah, no pod at the end of it. And thanks for listening. Fridays, you can catch us. This is a very political podcast. We don't necessarily want to get super political on the Living Directors, but it's prescient and relevant to do so at this time.
Art is political.
It is. That said, I think we're kind of looking forward to getting past this season of South Park.
I am. I'm ready. I'm ready to honestly get past this season of America. Additionally, yeah, I'm ready to enjoy things again.
And we can segue back into just TV and movies when we get a chance. And hopefully we'll bring you some special guests like Dustin bought a couple weeks ago into the future and into the winter of 2025 and
the winter of our discontent, you know. Bye.
Living Directors Podcast.